The Creation of All, Chapter 6. I've been staring out the window for several hours, and have been here for 4 days. I still don't like how some of these days are shorter or longer than others. I can see a lot of this city from the 5th floor of this hotel. This city, Awacho, is one of the official cities that are part of this nation, ruled and protected by the government of Lorita. It's also a bit of a tourist destination. The city has all sorts of theme park-like rides connected to and weaving between the buildings. They also have lots of performance halls, plays, concerts, and operas. Bodaka is still unconscious on one of the beds in this giant room that has 5 beds. The others only come back here to bring food and sleep. Some nights they don't come back at all. When they do, they make me and Karyuki sleep on the floor. I can't help but notice this giant building in the center of the city. It has towers around it, several steeples, and reminds me of a giant church. The architecture of it is amazing. I hope I get to tour it. Quiga woke up yesterday and told us that Bodaka told her where the fuel and Krelly lines were that ran through the walls and floors that powered the ship's engines, and that she severed them, which caused the ship to fall and destroy that metal monster and the entire city. She's so worried she hasn't eaten anything since that gross food she pulled out of the ground. How long can a krivadel go without eating? She's just been sitting on that bed the whole time. She's afraid that when Bodaka wakes up, he'll tell everyone about how she interrupted his ryokan and that they'll turn on her. I won't let that happen. It's been rough being trapped in this room all this time. The others told me that Saiten is blaming me for eliminating one of their agents, so it's best I avoid being seen. I had to hide next to the craft's engine when we entered the city. From here, I've been watching all these krivadel people having so much fun, and being cooped up in this room is becoming torture. At least I haven't been wasting my time here. I found out that there are panels on these machines I'm wearing on my shoulders and around my waist. They both have a panel with cartridges inside that are still mostly full of something. Behind the other panel is some strange machine. Tadate guesses it can suck in particles from the air, but we don't know what the point of that is. More importantly, I figured out how I punched through that metal dress. I can only make myself stronger when I need to. Like when I ripped off the bathroom door in this room because it was stuck. I saw the bands on my fingers turn red, and the redness spread from my fingers and I assume over my arm since I can't see through this gel sleeve. If I try to turn red but don't need to, all I get are these thin red lines appearing on my white bands that shake and jitter. Woo! That was awesome! Guda shouts as she and the other 3 burst into the room, falling all over each other on the floor. Vayne, Quiga, what are you 2 doing here? Why don't you have fun with us? Miga asks, and I spin around in shock. You guys said that after what happened in Turdrum, Saiten would be looking for me and it wouldn't be safe. Karyuki and Guda start snickering. Oh, real funny. We're just here to check on Bodaka. You 2 can come with us. We're going to a performance at Hagaton. It's a musical the audience gets to dance to. Tadate says, and that does sound fun. Surely Quiga would enjoy that. I look at her and she's still just sitting on the bed, her arms around her legs, not reacting to us at all. Bah! Bodaka shouts, sitting straight up on the bed. Bodaka, you're awake! Miga squeals in excitement. Oh, where are we? He asks, feeling his head. We came to Awacho. It was close by and fun. Tadate answers, and Bodaka seems to lock on to Quiga. He immediately gets out of the bed and walks over to her. He grabs her by the hair and starts pulling her off the bed. Hey, what are you doing? Miga asks, seeming upset. Taking her outside to be beaten in front of everyone. She got involved in my ryokan. We can't keep her around anymore. As soon as he said that, everyone's expression changes to one of hate and anger. Even her kind should know better, Guda says. That's messed up, so wrong, Karyuki shouts. Miga and Tadate remain silent, but Miga looks devastated. Bodaka is dragging her to the door, and before I know it, my hand is gripping his wrist. What are you doing? Bodaka asks me in his usually calm voice. Stopping you. Quiga is my friend, and I won't let you hurt her, and I won't abandon her. Quiga has always seemed just as lost as me, and she's not even trapped in another dimension. I look at her to see the tears running down her face. Even though she isn't making a sound, I can tell how sad she is. I refuse to let this happen to her. Right, you're a human, so you don't know that the ryokan is sacred. It's understood in every culture all over the planet, and our people have been doing this to solve disputes since the dawn of our species. It can be done between 2 or more parties regardless of the size, so long as they all agree to the terms. Once agreed upon, every single person knows that he cannot intrude no matter what. She did, so she must pay for it. Bodaka explains, and I understand their reaction now. It wasn't her fault. I told her to do that. What did I just say? Bodaka tries to pull his arm away, but I don't let go. Sorry, but I'm going to have to ask you all to forgive her because I'm not letting you hurt her or get rid of her. Vayne, we accepted you even though you're human. We thank you for your help in Turdrum, but this is serious. If you try to defend her, you'll face the same punishment. After punching out Mashai and surviving getting crushed, I no longer feel like the person I was. I'm feeling like I can overcome anything. I appreciate you guys accepting me, but I'm not backing down from this. Well then, it seems like we have a problem. As soon as Bodaka says that, he punches me in the face and I let go of his wrist. Miga jumps in, putting herself between me and Quiga. Sorry, Vayne. I really liked you. She kicks me in the gut and I stagger back more. The other 3 spread out in the room and they are now pointing guns at me. They start shooting and I can feel myself getting shot several times. The pain is excruciating, but I can tell by looking at my fingers that I've managed to turn my body red. I know I'll heal from being shot, so I just need to take control of the situation. Kiruki, Miga, and Bodaka are in front of me. Bodaka has just pulled Quiga out the door and into the hallway, so I charge forward. I swing my arm, punching Kiruki in the head, sending him to the floor. I just have to get past Miga. I swing a punch at her just as fast as I did to Kiruki, but she actually moves quickly enough to get out of the way. She punches me in the face 3 times, and I can't focus. My insides are hurting so bad. Why am I still bleeding? My body isn't healing from getting shot. I try to tackle Miga, but she moves out of the way, and I hit the door on the other side of the hall. I stick my fingers into one of the wounds that aren't healing and pull out a 3-inch long bug with big teeth. You shoot bugs here? They're kobas, and humans don't shoot bugs? Miga asks before swinging her leg down at me, but I move to the side while pulling out 2 more of these kobas. Sorry about this. I do appreciate you helping to save us, Tadate says, genuinely seeming remorseful about this. That was cool and all, but you're still ugly, Gura says, and the 2 of them raise their guns to shoot me. Kiruki is staying down, thankfully. I dig my fingers into the door I crashed into, ripping it off, and I throw it at them, and it wedges in the doorway sideways. Now I'm in the hall with Bodaka, Miga, and Quiga, while the other 3 are sort of stuck in the room, though I doubt that I'll keep them there for long. I get to my feet and start trying to pull more bugs out of me, but Miga is already jumping at me. She's sitting on my shoulders. She hooks her legs under my arms and leans forward, stabbing her claws into the floor, and lifts me up and over with her legs and slams me against the floor. Miga then wraps her tail around my neck and starts swinging me around, hitting me against the walls and ceiling. I grab her tail and squeeze it as hard as I can, but I can't hurt her doing this. I can feel the muscles in there are really tough. I remember Mashai's tail supported her whole body. I'll have to keep trying, and I don't want to make her bleed, but I have no choice. I dig my claws into her tail, and that finally hurts her, and she stops swinging me around long enough for me to plant my feet and swing her by the tail into the wall. She hits it so hard that her body breaks the wall, and she goes into the room on the other side. I don't mind hurting Kiruki or Gura, but the others have been really good to me. I really don't want to hurt them too much. I chase after Bodaka while pulling out the rest of the kobas. I jump over Quiga to attack Bodaka, but he lets her go and moves away. I start throwing punches at him, but he easily brushes them away with one arm. I did like you. Thought you were pretty interesting. But I'm not going to let you insult our people's history and culture. You should know I've inherited more fighting experience than most. Huh? Is all I managed to say, not understanding what he just said. And Miga got the same birthright I did. Huh? I ask again, still not understanding what he's saying. But in that moment, Miga kicks the side of my head, knocking me down. The 2 of them each grab one of my arms, pick me up, and drag me to the window at the end of the hall, throwing me through it. I land on the ground on my back, and I can see the red on me has already faded to black and is breaking off me. Now I'm laying on my back in an alley. I can see people passing by staring at me as they go. I'm now considering that I may have made a mistake. I can't fight Miga and Bodaka. They're way too skilled. But I can make myself stronger than them. That's it! Skill is nothing compared to overwhelming strength, right? If I stop worrying about them and focus on hurting them, I can win and save Quiga. I spread the red through my bands and then over my body again, and I jump back up through the window. There I see the 2 holding Quiga by her arms, and Tadate and Gura are out in the hall too. I guess Kiruki is still on the floor. Let her go! You're not going to hurt her. I shout at them, and Quiga still isn't resisting at all. Sorry, Vayne, but culture dictates that she be beaten out in public, so as many as possible can shame her, Budaka says, not letting her go. Terate and Gura raise their guns at me again. I can't worry about anything. If I want to help Quiga, then my only priority is to stop them and keep her safe. I hit the wall with my right hand, breaking it. I grab and pull out a piece and I throw it at them. The bit hits Gura in the face so hard that she falls back. She must not have been expecting me to do that. Ah, my nose! You nasty freak! Gura shouts while on her back, holding her face in pain. Alright, fine. Terate, stay back. Miga, let's end this. Budaka says, and Terate steps back, lowering his gun, and Miga and Budaka step forward. They run down the hall at me, moving in sync, but I'm sure my strength can beat their skill. The two then split, smashing through the walls on either side of them. I suppose krivadels are strong enough to break through whatever they make their walls out of. Everything is quiet now. I nervously step forward to peer through the hole Budaka disappeared into. I look in to see 4 angry krivadels arguing with each other. They all stop when they see me and look startled as if I'm some kind of monster. But there's no trace of Budaka. I then turn to look through the hole Miga made, but there's just 2 krivadels in the room desperately asking me what's going on and what I am. Again, no sign of Miga. I step back into the hall, looking around. All I see is Terate standing there next to Gura, who is still holding her nose on the floor, and Quiga, who is sitting against the wall. Hey, where'd they go? I asked Terate, not knowing what else to do. Before he could answer, if he was going to, Budaka bursts out of the ceiling, dropping down right in front of me. Miga bursts out of the floor behind me, and the two start attacking, but I'm able to avoid them. This is really hard, and I can't keep this up much longer. I spin around, swinging my arms, and that gets them to back off. I'm now facing Miga, and I charge forward, grabbing her and tackling her to the floor, which I can feel break a little under her. I turn to face Budaka, but he's already there and kicks me in the head. Miga then follows up with a punch to my face. I get to my feet, and I stomp on Miga's face, breaking the floor more. I start punching at Budaka as fast as I can, but he keeps ducking and weaving. We start exchanging blows until he grabs my arm and throws me over his shoulder. I hit the floor, and I'm quick to get back up, but he starts kicking my back. I turn and grab his foot, but he jumps up and wraps his tail around my arm and slams me into the wall. He's now trying to break my arm with his tail. I can feel my bones starting to break. Good thing I'm stronger than he is. I get back onto my feet and lift his entire body up with my right arm. Wow, is all Budaka says before I start slamming him against the floor and the walls, before flinging him off my arm and down the hall where he lands on Miga, who was about to get up. The two aren't moving anymore. I walk over to see if it's over, but I can hear them whispering to each other. Alright, you win, Budaka says as he gets up. Miga smiles and nods while she keeps wiping the blood off her face, since her nose is bleeding really bad. Huh? I ask as the tone of the situation just changed. I'm now willing to overlook Quiga's poor actions this once. Really? I ask, even though I knew enough violence would solve this problem. I accidentally let my grip on the red slip, and it fades to black and breaks off me like vapor. What? We can't just ignore what she did? Does our culture mean nothing? Kaduki shouts while running towards us, along with Terate and Gura. Yeah, she's worse than dirt, and he's defending her. We should at least ditch them now, Gura says angrily. Vayne would be a great use to our revolution, but I don't think this is something we can just forgive, Terate says, voicing his thoughts. Budaka and Miga walk over to the others, and they huddle and start whispering and arguing. After a couple of minutes, they turn back to us. Since you two can be of use to the Doriano Revolution, we'll let you stay, but Quiga does need to take some punishment. We'll think of something later. But right now, we got things to do, Budaka says, and only Miga and Terate seem alright with the new arrangement. What happened here? What's wrong with all of you? Someone shouts who just ran up the stairs. I assume he works here. Out the window! Budaka shouts, and we all jump out the window they threw me out of earlier. We land on the ground and start running. We won't be going back to that hotel, Budaka says, and we run a few blocks until we get far enough away. We stop, and as the others decide what they want to do, I notice Quiga is still looking a bit down. You feeling okay? Look, I didn't know me telling you to do that would result in all that which just happened. No, I'm sorry. I knew they would react like that, and I did it anyway. It's just everything was so crazy, and it seemed best to end it as quickly as possible. Anyway, I attacked that agent first. Besides, I can't... She seems really flustered and uncomfortable now. Better change the subject. Oh yeah, why did you do that? You said for practice. Practice for what? I don't really want to talk about it. I was immobile for too long. Quiga then starts stretching her legs. She then bends her body back until she puts her hands on the ground without bending her knees. She then straightens back up, and all I can think about is how hot that was. My body needs to move. Hey, Vayne, Bodaka shouts to me. We each have errands to run. See that tower down the street? Bodaka points, and I do see a white tower on the side of the road. It has blue and purple smoke coming out of the top of it. We're going to meet back there in an hour. Sure, okay, I say, and the five of them split up and walk off. I then look back to Quiga, who is jogging down the street. Hey, wait up! I shout, chasing after her. We run down the street, and as the crowd thickens, it gets harder to keep up with her. She starts to get lost in the crowd. Quiga, slow down! I shout, but I get no response. I start trying to look over the people. A lot of these krivedel guys are a foot or more taller than me. I can't lose sight of her. We'll get separated and lost. The next thing I know, I'm in the air. I suddenly turned red and just jumped over everyone. I'm 20 feet off the ground. I did it all so quickly that no one noticed. I end up falling and knocking 4 people over. They all start complaining and sounding angry, and I've already lost my red. Sorry about that, I nervously say as I quickly get off them and make a run for it. The crowd thins and I can see Quiga now. I can hear the few people passing by talking about me, calling me weird, deformed, and freaky. I ignore them. I need to catch up to Quiga. I push off the ground with my right foot, preparing to jump like I did before, but I only fall flat on my face. I can hear everyone around me laughing. I get up and move to the wall. I can't stand it when people laugh at me. It causes me to panic and not think properly. All the thoughts in my head get all mixed up by all the laughter. I start running to get away from these people, and I crash into Quiga. We tumble across the ground for a few feet. The people all just pass by, snickering and laughing at us as they go. What was that? Quiga says angrily as she shoves me off her. Sorry, we got separated and I just kept running to catch up. Quiga doesn't respond, and she's not even looking at me. She's staring up at one of the many large screens that are built into the side of the buildings. She looks shocked by what she's seeing. I look up and I think it's a news broadcast. Returning from successfully leading the operation to end the conflict in the Chuango Nation's Yargago region, our officers Kakyo, Nagura, and Uraiga. The guy talking says that with such excitement, and the camera pans out to see crowds lining the street as they all cheer for these officers. My attention is immediately drawn to Raiga as the camera pans to her and my tears start up again. She stands out since, aside from her hairstyle, she looks exactly like Quiga. She's smiling as she waves to the crowds. I notice that she has 2 fangs instead of 1 like Quiga has. Thank you. Your love and support make it all possible. I couldn't do it without you, she shouts to her supporters. Raiga is wearing some strange, shiny dark blue armor. For some reason, looking at her makes me tear up, and then I see something that makes my heart feel like ice. There is a square-like indentation on the left side of that armor. Seeing it makes me fall to my knees for some reason. I can't stop the tears. Keenie, I whisper, and soon Raiga walks out of view of the cameras, and all those strange feelings vanish. Quiga, that one looked just like you, except for the hair, I say, stunned by what I saw. Raiga had a mostly bald head, with a long clump of hair on the front right side of her head, reaching down just past her chin. Is she your sister? I ask, excited at the thought that Quiga has a family. Quiga is still staring at the screen. Her face is now seething with rage. She lets out a scream before grabbing the sides of her head and shaking it around wildly. Hey, are you alright? I ask, but she starts hitting her head on the side of the building. Whoa, stop! She's not stopping. I reach out to grab her, hoping to stop her from hurting herself, but I see some rocks on the ground, and that gives me an idea. Hey, check this out, I say to her, and she moves her head slightly to look at me. I then start juggling the 4 rocks I picked up off the ground. I learned to juggle a few years ago, as it always made my sister smile after her incident. I've never failed to get a smile doing this. Come on, Quiga, smile for me. Cheer up and be happy. I juggle for several minutes, and Quiga just stares at me blankly. My juggling isn't working? How disappointing. I'm going to have to try Cascade, though I was never able to master it. 1, 2, and... I catch the first, throw the third, I miss the second, and it hits me right between the eyes on an edge. Oh, it stings. I rub the spot, and the third rock hits the top of my head. I start to hear a lot of laughing around me, and I notice that a crowd gathered. I was only watching Quiga. These people are all laughing at me, and the sound is like knives stabbing into me. I then hear something else. These people are throwing bits of metal on the ground around me. They're all small and rectangular. The crowd disperses pretty quickly. Quiga walks up and starts picking up the bits. Now we have some money. This is money? Looks like you got about 67 drell for your performance. Though we should run now. Run? Why? Quiga points to all the damage I did to the large window next to me. The third rock hit my head, and the fourth I must have smashed this window. I'm really off the ball today. There are two people standing in the doorway glaring at me. Are they going to attack me? No, that's the Bodo's job. Check out part 2 for the rest of Chapter 6.